Well, we are 15 minutes late, 17 minutes late. I'll take credit. It was not Jesse's fault this time. It's not really my fault. It was partly my fault, but I did not expect there to be such a long line at Amity to get coffee. They are apparently booming on Sunday mornings now. I don't know how the rest of the week is, but it's good for them.
Amping up for their new place they're going to be in soon. So
yeah, it's going to be cool. So they get to expand a little bit.
Is that a bigger building, you think? Yeah, I guess it is longer.
Definitely bigger.
Yeah.
Definitely bigger. All right. While we're playing the song, make sure to give this a like and a share so we can get some people watching this morning. And we'll be right back with you.
Who's there? It's rare. Who's there? It's rare. Come fill your time, this pot's for all. From the Finger Lakes, join in the call. Learn something new about the Cuca Trail. Upstate New York, every episode I tell. Who's there? It's rare. Who's there? It's rare. It's rare.
Thanks for the song, Kyle.
Nice.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
All right.
Thanks for the coffee, even though it started the show late.
I hate this time of year.
Yeah.
You know that? Like January, February. It's like the worst time of year.
It's usually it's the most bitter cold and snow sucks.
It's not even that cold. Just like
it's not cold at all, really.
It's just depressing.
Is it?
I think so,
yeah.
I kind of want to just go out though and maybe it's time for a walk in the woods.
You and Hawkeye?
Yeah. He loves that shit. Well, he's a dog, so
I like your guys' photo ops you've been doing.
Yeah? Have we been doing a lot of them?
I've seen a couple. You've been posting them on Facebook. So
I had to do one. I'm not like a super vain person, obviously, because otherwise I'd be more attractive. But I had to have a picture for the Friends of the Outlet newsletter because each time we do a newsletter now, we're trying to feature one of our board members and kind of talk about them a little bit. So this time they asked me to do it. So I wrote a little thing up on kind of my history with the trail. Nice. And it's like I was in quarantine at the time when they asked for the article. So I said, sorry, I can't go like take a picture today to submit with it.
Right.
But it took them a little bit longer to get the newsletter out. So when they sent it over to me, I said, oh crap, they used my before picture. They had a picture of Chunky Phil.
You're a little chunkier.
Yeah. And so I decided that it was time to go get a picture with Hawkeye on the trail to put with that. So
I was more shocked that you could get him to stay still for that long.
Didn't take that long. Just a second.
Yeah. How'd you take the picture?
Remote.
Oh, you have a remote to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's legit. Okay, because knowing Hawkeye, I was like, that was a fight. Like, there's no way Hawkeye was cool just sitting there for longer than 5 seconds.
He was not cool with it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But I set the camera up on this little thing. I was gonna come down here and get my tripod, but I didn't bother. I had this little like bracket thing because I was in a hurry for some reason. I had this little bracket thing that I put it in that stood it up well, and then I had to kind of tilt it, adjust it a few times. So I had to get him to do that like 3 or 4 times before I got it, so that like it didn't cut off the top of our heads.
When are we gonna get Jordan a picture of him and Tatum and put on his profile?
Yeah, Jordan. Yeah. You just got to have a picture with a backwards hat on all the time. What's that all about?
Why are you taking shots at Jordan?
I'm
sorry, Jordan. I'm sorry.
Is it keeping the sun off your neck? I don't know.
He said he was bitter. Remember, it's January. I like your backwards hat, Jordan. Looks nice.
Looks great, Jordan. Yeah.
So, anyways, you watched the Bills game last night?
I watched the first 3 quarters. Thanks, Cuomo.
Oh, were you at a bar? Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I don't have cable, which means that, in New York State, if you don't have cable, you're only allowed to watch the first 3 quarters of the Bills game, the only NFL team in New York State. You're only allowed to watch the first 3 quarters if it's prime time.
Nice. Yeah, that's true. There was a bunch of bars in Buffalo, and they were making like tents in the street, and it's pretty interesting. So like you could stay out in a tent and drink, but you couldn't be indoors and drink.
I don't think that's
either that or Buffalo just didn't give a shit. It was on the news after the game.
They probably just said, "Screw it, we're gonna do it."
Yeah. Problem is the SLA is in Buffalo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Huh. So it's like you got to be really good in Buffalo since the state liquor authority's like there. It's like right across the street from your bar. So
yeah. So the game was like 3-3.
Yeah.
And then I went home.
Oh, it was still 3-3 when you went home? It should have probably been 10-3.
I was a little bit distracted. I saw a couple of my friends from college that I needed to talk to. So
nice.
Yeah.
No, don't be upset, Jordan. You're okay. Phil didn't mean it.
No, Jordan, I meant it. I meant it. Turn your goddamn hat around.
Sorry, Jordan.
Just grow up.
Oh God. Oh God. I hope he sicks Tatum on you. I really do.
Tatum might kill me with little licks.
Yeah, they're the cutest. So, anyways, what was I supposed to see today? Early.
Oh yeah. So this morning, I got a this morning I got an alert on my phone from Facebook that.
Oh wait, was I supposed to?
That was it. Well, you're on the page, so I thought you would have seen it too.
No, but so people actually have seen that?
No, just because you're an admin on the page. That anyway. So our stream from the debate got flagged and removed this morning.
That's how popular we've become.
Yeah, even CBS is watching the show now.
Yeah,
it takes them a couple months to do it, but I mean, next thing we're going to be replacing Dan Rather with actual credible news soon.
Who's Dan Rather?
Wasn't he on CBS? Wasn't he the anchor on CBS that got like his spot blown up because he basically just made up a bunch of stuff about George Bush that was like completely blatantly wrong?
Actually, I'm not sure. I don't know. I've never watched CBS News. So that would be, I think I've seen, and the only anchor I remember like getting into a lot of trouble, and I can't remember his name, but he was made up a story about how he was in Afghanistan and was getting shot at. And
I thought that was Hillary Clinton.
That was Benghazi with Hillary, I think.
No, Hillary Clinton had this whole scandal where she was like, yeah, we were under sniper fire. And they were like, they went back and they had a video of her walking off the airplane, like on the tarmac.
Oh, God.
Like, normal.
No, I don't remember the guy's name, but yeah, he got into a lot of trouble. I don't think he's on the news anymore after his Afghanistan story.
Yeah, Dan Rather was like one of the main anchors for CBS News. And then what happened in 2007? On September 19th, 2007, Rather filed a $70 million lawsuit against CBS and Viacom because they made him the scapegoat in the Killians story, which I guess you'll have to all go look that up.
Killian. Sounds Scottish.
Irish.
Is Killian Irish?
Yeah, you ever drink Killians?
Yeah, I thought it was a Scottish beer. Now I'm disappointed. It's an Irish beer.
Irish red ale.
Gotcha. Interesting. Learn something new every day.
Well, I'm not sure if I have anything interesting to say this week, so everybody can just turn this off if you just want to listen to me. But
is there nothing fun to talk about?
We beat you at trivia this week.
Oh, well, that was an ass whooping. That wasn't it?
We gave everyone an ass whooping. We've won.
I thought we were going to team up, but you guys didn't want me on the same team. I think
we would have, but
you could have used me on.
I don't know if we needed a team of. I don't know if we needed a team of like 6 people.
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay.
It was nice though. It was actually a fun time at the Water Street Wine Bar, and your friends there though, they were talking a lot of trash in the first round, and then we just took them to task.
Yeah, and for everyone watching, Phil almost got jumped by 6 girls. Was it 6 or 5?
And not in a good way.
Yeah, no, they were going to beat him up.
They were angry. It was 4.
Well, was that 4? I'm making this way bigger than 4 girls. I had him like winning maybe against 2, but 4, he's on his own. So
yeah, no, I wouldn't. The only way to win in a fight with a woman is not to fight a woman.
Well, you're damn right, because
that's the only way to win.
If you fight and you lose, you got beat up by a woman,
right?
And if you win, you beat up a woman. Unless it's Ronda Rousey, she'd probably whoop the shit out of both of us. So I don't know if you know her or not.
Yes, I do.
She's scary as hell.
But Marianne
should have wore your hat backwards, Phil. It would have helped you. You're Jordan. You're right. It would have helped him.
Would have kept the rain out of my neck.
I'm so sorry, Jordan. You don't deserve this treatment. Oh boy.
When I was a kid, my dad was a baseball coach, like for as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
And I think he's coached over 900 games, not just baseball, but like every sport now. And the one I always remembered, it was like, you have to wear your hat properly.
Oh, okay.
And not only that, but it was like he had a rule about haircuts.
Okay.
That on his team, everybody had to have their hair cut to the point where, at the very least, with a hat on, it wouldn't get in their eyes.
Okay.
So,
but why can't you just flip your hair back and put your hat on?
Yeah, well, what happens if your hat falls off?
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah, but it does sometimes. In baseball,
I imagine.
What
about like
Bills won?
Randy Johnson, or is that the guy's name? That pitcher, the long-haired guy for the Yankees.
Randy Johnson. Yeah. What about him?
He had like long ass hair.
Yeah. Well, by that time, no, he cut it when he came over to the Yankees.
I don't think so. I could be wrong.
I thought he cut it.
Could be wrong.
They have a pretty tight policy. My dad's a big Yankees fan, so I think he liked some of their policies. They have to shave. I mean, Randy Johnson had that big old mustache, sweet Fu Manchu, and
dude had an arm.
Shave that thing off.
Scary.
Threw a perfect game. He was like 40 years old or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't.
He was old when he came over to the Yankees. He was at the end of his career, and he threw a perfect game for the Yankees.
He's just like a tough redneck guy. That's why I think everyone liked him.
He's like 7'12".
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't. And think about the angle that ball is coming at. The ball is coming at you from like 9 feet in the air, plus 6 inches of mound.
Yeah, I'm sure he could put some velocity on it. Yeah. Crazy. He killed a bird with a pitch too.
He did kill a bird with a pitch, and Pita tried to get him prosecuted for that.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, of course they did.
He didn't do it on purpose.
Of course he didn't. But they don't care.
What a bunch of fools.
They just want attention. They just like Pita is just about getting attention. They're idiots.
So Pita's like
Pita sucks.
Oh God.
You hear that, Pita? Come at me.
Oh God. We already got CBS on us, and now you're bringing Pita.
We got CBS. We got the Russians. We got the Clintons.
Jesus. The Clintons now too. Since what did we say about them? Oh God, here we go.
A lot.
I don't want to shoot myself. Well.
It's only me. It's only me. It's not you. And then who was it? I can't remember. It was maybe like Dave Winfield or something hit a ball like it into center field, and it killed a bird. He felt terrible about this, by the way. And I think Randy Johnson felt pretty terrible about killing that bird too. But anyway, he hit a ball into like center field, and it killed a bird in midair. Wow. And they tried to come after him for that. And I think they actually there was one point where there was actually a thought that somebody might actually get prosecuted under animal cruelty laws for like a bird that got killed by accident during a baseball game. Which is it's just wild to think about. It's like, oh no, I can't come to play against the Padres because the last time I played there, they put out a warrant for my arrest because I hit a ball that bounced off of a bird.
You know, I remember back in the day when we all could hate Pita. Like everyone was kind of on the same page.
What do you mean?
Like that was like everyone.
We can't now?
No one groups. Like remember when everyone used to just be able to group up and hate things? And now that's dead. Like
no, it's not. Have you seen Trump?
Well,
like 82 million people hate the hell out of him.
Yeah, but there's 76 million that don't.
Right.
So like PETA is like 250 million people are like, well, fuck PETA. They're stupid. Like, who the hell cares what they say? Same thing with Nickelback. Think about it. Like, there's
Nickelback sucks.
250
PETA sucks. Who else sucks?
People that like just hated them. I don't know. I just remember we could all gang up on certain things.
Mitch McConnell. Everybody hates Mitch McConnell right now.
Yeah, he's hated by everybody.
How dare you?
Pretty exclusive.
How dare you prevent everybody from getting a $2,000 check?
Yeah, he's not people don't like him. Now there's got to be more people we can think of, but I imagine that's
Creed.
Hey,
Newbie said Creed.
Newbie.
And I don't disagree. I really don't like
you
Creed.
You can't hate Christian rock.
I hated Creed before it was cool to hate Creed. Like when they first came out, I was like, could you stop doing that thing with your voice? Everything that not everybody hates ISIS, but
not the people in ISIS.
ISIS doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Trump. Thanks, Trump.
He did. He went a little hard on them. They're not around. So yeah.
He went almost as hard he went almost as hard on them as he did on Colin Kaepernick.
Oh. Oh God. We're gonna start out like this. Yeah. And then I mean, yeah, I just miss the days of when everyone could hate on the same stuff like broccoli, peas, like.
But it wasn't real hate.
Yeah, well, that's hate. I mean,
but it wasn't like how people hate Trump.
Oh no, that's like
that's a consuming hate.
They're passionate.
People hate PETA, and they're like, "Oh man, we can just like take digs at PETA all day because they suck."
Right.
And they want to keep me from eating steak, which I love, but and wearing leather. They're gonna like throw paint on me because I like leather.
That's hilarious when they're like in grocery stores and they're like throwing like blood around and they're like putting the names of the cow on there. And then I always loved the guys that would walk up and be like, they'd still be doing it and they'd walk up and grab their steak and be like, Jenny, sweet. like walk and take it and go like what? Like we give a shit. We know they die, buddy. Like, You're not changing anything.
We're aware. I like there's a billboard that I've seen a bunch of times and it says, where do you draw the line? Mm-hmm. And it's got a lineup of like a cat, a dog, a rabbit, a pig, a cow, a sheep, and it's like a horse, whatever, right? It's got all these animals lined up and it says, where do you draw the line? Like as in like which ones of these is it okay to eat and which ones is it not? This is a PETA billboard. And then people just like take that picture of that billboard and they actually draw a line and they're like, okay, well, dinner, hungry, like apocalypse.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll dogs and cats are off the list.
I will eat a cat if I'm going to die if I don't eat
a horse. Can't taste too good. It's very like muscular.
Horses, that's what you eat. You eat the muscles.
Yeah, but you want more fat, right? Kind of.
There are countries where like they raise horses for meat.
Well, that's fine, but I just can't imagine they taste good because they're so muscular. I've never shot an animal that's like muscular and like ate it, and I was like, that's pretty good.
Venison.
Not very muscular.
Elk.
I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I've never seen an elk up close, but if you like when you're near a horse, they're like those things are jacked.
They're cut. Yeah.
They're solid as hell.
Yeah.
And like any animal that's solid as hell like that can't taste great. Imagine.
Don't get your meat from Aldi then.
What?
You haven't heard this?
No.
This has happened a few times. There have been like 3 or 4 different times. I'll say at least twice. I can confirm twice that there were scandals because Aldi they'd like took meat that Aldi was selling, like Swedish meatballs or something, and they DNA tested them.
Oh no!
And found horse meat in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
interesting. Maybe horse meat's good. I don't think I'll be trying it, but yeah, could be.
Maybe someday. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have at my last job, one of the things that they did with the faculty was every year they would take 2 faculty and send them on a trip to China, because we had probably maybe a quarter of our student population was from China, Korea, Vietnam,
and played hockey.
Some of them played hockey. Most of the Asian students were not hockey players.
I was gonna say, I mean,
most of them were just
not in their culture.
Most of them were like students filling out beds, and a lot of really great musicians.
So there's more than hockey at that school. There was like multiple.
It was okay. Yeah, they had centers of excellence. So
I thought it was
hockey, soccer. A lot of them were figure skaters, golfers, musicians. We even had, by the time that I left there, and I'm sure they've got more stuff going on now, but they had, pre-conservatory center of excellence. They had a bioscience center of excellence. So if you wanted to do something in bioscience, you could specialize in that as a high school student.
Interesting.
So there are a lot of things that like they just focused on every single student there. By the time I left, they wanted to make sure that every single student there had something that they were specializing in, it, whether it was academic or athletic.
Right. Okay.
And anyway, every year they would take 2 faculty and they'd send them on a paid trip to China, and they'd go stay with some families. They'd go like tour the Great Wall, all sorts of stuff. I would have loved to have had the opportunity to do it in retrospect. And even now, I mean, we've got a good number of international students from that area at the college I work at now. So I would still like to do that. But they got to, one of my friends got to go, and he said that he got to the last day and they were like, all right, well, is there anything else you want to do that we didn't do while you were here? And he's like, I kind of want to try dog.
That is sketchy, dude.
And well, the kid, so he was staying with the family, and the kid had like told his dad, he's like, don't try to feed him dog. And he was like trying to do everything to keep his dad from feeding him dog. And his dad was like, no, we got to feed him dog. Like, he's going to want to try dog.
Dude, I keep looking like how many people are going to turn this shit off at this point. Like,
no. So anyway, so he got to try dog.
Gross.
And yeah, he said it was, I don't remember how he said it tasted. I'll have to ask him again.
You got to think differently of a person that wants to eat a dog.
Well, it's just different there though. And it's like
no
it's an experience that you can't get here.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want it. It's like there's a reason they're called man's best friend.
Yeah, I agree, but
it's sketchy. There's no wildness about them.
There's just,
you want to go shoot a wolf? I mean, you can go.
There's just something about like experiencing different things that you like. He's never going to get a chance to do that. Not that he wants a chance to do that again, but it's like you've one chance in your life to do that.
Not really. You can go shoot a coyote or a wolf.
Right, but that's not the same as like a dog that was raised for meat. Like, they raise dogs for meat.
Yuck.
Of course, now, I mean, shit, he could have brought back rabies or something. I don't know, distemper. I don't want to get distemper from a cheeseburger.
No, that's gross. I don't know. I don't understand it.
Just don't eat bats. All right.
Yeah. No.
If we've learned one thing this year, don't eat bats.
Yeah. Gross. All of it's gross. Those wet markets in China, once I like Googled them and looked up pictures, I was like, my God, that is like a breeding ground for bacteria.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's not cold. It's not like refrigerated.
Gross.
And they keep the different species of animals like
touching each other.
Right with each other.
Yeah.
It's like that's exactly where it's going to incubate.
And that's how you start an apocalypse.
Of course, that's assuming that that it wasn't manufactured in a lab like 1.5% of people think it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm making up that stat, but it seems reasonable.
Maybe.
Like a really loud 1.5% are pretty sure that this was like biological warfare.
I mean, who knows?
And also that the mRNA vaccine is not actually a vaccine and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. I worry for the vaccine.
I can understand thinking, man, I'm not sure if this is safe, but people that are like, no, this is not actually a vaccine and we won't have a vaccine for 40 years. It's like, that's not, I don't think that's right.
See, I worry for the vaccine on the other, like, I feel bad for the vaccine having to be put into my body because it doesn't, just, I have more foreign stuff than that vaccine does. So I don't think it has a chance.
You think it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that could be.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I wouldn't. I don't know. Poor vaccine. Yeah. All I can say is what they say, 95% effective.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's incredible. Like that's far better than almost any vaccine that we've ever had.
Yeah. I don't need it for a long time, so I'm good.
Yeah. So Newbie says that a friend of his insists that through the vaccine, the government will remotely control your DNA.
How?
And I can't tell you how impossibly stupid that is.
How would that even work?
I'm not saying that your friend is stupid.
Well,
but that idea is impossibly stupid.
How remotely control your DNA? Meaning, like, what are they gonna do with it?
I don't fucking know, man. Probably the thing, the Bill Gates thing or something. I don't know. Listen, you can't affect DNA with RNA. It doesn't go that way. It goes the other way. DNA can become RNA. RNA does not become DNA. It just doesn't. So unless you think that they're injecting you with DNA, then stop that.
What do they have to gain?
Unless I don't have any idea.
Though that's what I've done in my head. It's like, okay, so if I'm the government and I'm going to give people shots, like, what do I have to gain? It's like,
what did they have to gain by giving African Americans syphilis for 60 years?
They were testing them.
Yeah,
trying to get a cure.
They weren't trying to get a cure though. They didn't give them any actual medical treatment. They just gave them syphilis and watched them die.
Yeah, maybe there's more to it. I don't know. But as far as I can remember, they were kind of doing it for testing. That's all I know. So, but I don't think they're going to give all of us herpes or gonorrhea or syphilis.
Maybe they want us all to die. Did you? I just saw that this is supposed to be the first, either this year or last year, is supposed to be the first time that we've had the in a long time anyway, at least 20 years, had the life expectancy drop by a full year.
Hasn't it been that way for a while?
Dropping?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh.
Maybe a little bit, but it's supposed to drop by a full year this year, which, do you know how much money that's going to save taxpayers? Because the government doesn't have any money. But if everybody dies a year earlier, that's a year less of Medicare. It's a year less of Social Security.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe they want everyone to die. It makes sense.
They're going to remotely control our DNA so that they can just they can control it at any time.
Right. Sure.
No, not sure. Not right. Not right at all. But if it was true,
I'm playing.
Imagine they could just be like, oh, death panel. Remember how they talked about the death panels in 2008? Yeah. Get ready for them to be flipping that switch with your DNA. That's insane.
See, the way I feel is I don't care if you want it or if you don't. It's just like, don't go around and spread. Don't try to like make shit up. That's not fun for everyone. Just You know,
Exactly.
if you don't want the vaccine, don't take it. I could care less if you take the vaccine or if you do take it. That doesn't matter to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just when they when people start making shit up, I'm like, and some of it is so goddamn wacky. You're like, it's a joke. They're joking.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got to be. That's funny.
But
right?
there are people who don't get it. They don't get the joke. No matter how simple the joke is, they don't get it.
Yeah. I don't know. Listen, I have an associate's degree in criminal justice and a minor associate's in psychology, and that's all I know. I don't know anything about fucking vaccines or any of that. So all I know is who's supposed to be in jail and half the reason why they're there. So I can't really help you with anything else. Crazy. I don't know. It's fun to see people. Do you watch a lot of podcasts? Have you ever seen them try to get into like talking about it? And there's two guys like you and I, and they're like, and one guy's like trying to bring some up, and the other guy's always like, dude, like, what are you? Like, what have you done with your life? Are you a fucking doctor?
Dr. Jane.
Yeah. It's like, no, none of us, none of us are doctors.
Actually, I've got this rash I was wondering if you could look at.
So funny. Like Bill Burr went at Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah.
He was like,
yeah.
Let's not sit here
on the mask stuff, especially.
Yeah.
Goes after him on the mask stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So when can we stop wearing the masks once we have the vaccine?
Good God, I don't know. All the articles I'm seeing, not of course research articles, but all of the news articles and opinion articles that I'm seeing are saying, "Oh, here's 7 reasons why you still need to wear your mask even if you have the vaccine." And it's like,
what are the reasons?
They're setting you up. They're setting you up to be, and I like some people are quoted in the article saying, "Well, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to feel comfortable going to work without a mask on again." It's like,
see, and then
I don't want to live in that world.
These fucking people take everything to an extreme.
Yeah.
Why can't everyone just be fucking normal?
If that's the,
Oh,
if
God.
this is going to sound a little bit extreme, but if I have to wear a mask for the rest of my life, I hope I catch coronavirus and it fucking kills me.
If the Russians don't.
Yeah, or hell, send them. If I have to wear a mask for the rest of my life. But yeah, no, they've got reasons like, oh well, and it's the same reasons that they've been using for everything all along. It's the whole we don't know thing. It's like, oh well, we don't know if it's gonna make it worse. We don't know if you're still contagious. We don't know if you can get it 27 times. It's like
after the vaccine?
Yeah. Oh, we don't know if you can. We don't know. Maybe if you get the vaccine, you can still catch it, but it won't be as bad. And, but you could still be contagious. It's all these what about, and it's like, what I can't do this for the rest of my life. I just can't.
I don't understand it,
I just
Phil.
can't.
I don't get it. I think once you have the vaccine, you should get a little fucking card that says you're vaccinated. I mean,
that's kind of scary too, though.
You think so? Maybe there's too much government control. I don't know if they're worried about people walking around that aren't vaccinated. I've heard of a lot of people saying like they should have things. I just thought maybe you get like this little card that says, hey, this is no different than a driver's license. Like you've been vaccinated, you're good to go. I don't want like crazy shit.
I don't think that's a bad idea, other than there are a lot of things that don't seem like a bad idea on their face that turn out to be really bad ideas.
Yeah.
And they turn out to be abused. And I worry about that being abused.
Well, so could people use that to keep people out of their businesses?
Exactly.
Even if they're wearing a mask?
I don't know. That's what I worry about is why. So we're supposed to be what, like in this theory, right? We would carry around a card that said that we had the vaccine. But then there's people who are like, oh, well, wait, so I have to have a card that shows I have the vaccine, but I don't have to show an ID to vote?
No, you probably should show an ID to vote.
I'm okay with not showing an ID to vote because I don't think it's a problem. But There's just, it's like, wait, we want to be in the 1930s Germany, like show your papers.
I mean, I don't know how it works.
I don't know. It's just it could be a slippery slope. I don't know if it is, but it could be. And we're already getting to where, okay, like I can show a piece of paper that says that I was diagnosed with it on a certain date.
Yeah.
And that gives me different rights for 3 months.
Yeah.
I can show a piece of paper that says I got the vaccine, and that changes how I'm treated. And that's kind of scary.
Yeah. I mean, I see where you're coming, because on Facebook, I've noticed people are, they're like having kind of parties now, and they're saying, hey, anyone that's had the vaccine, you're more than welcome to come. And I'm like, whoa, this is a vaccine party. Like, yeah, you're starting to like see it. And a couple of people, they're like nurses, like at the hospitals and stuff. And it's pretty interesting to see even people are starting to get like, yeah, if you want to come do this, you got to have a vaccine. Yeah. And it's like, well, you have your vaccine. So
I don't know exactly how I don't know how I feel about it, but I get a little bit sketched out by anything that creates multiple different classes of people. And that's kind of what this does in some way. It's by choice, at least this time.
Right.
It's not because of your gender or because of your color. I really don't like, the laws that Congress makes that don't apply to them.
Right.
The laws that they make that don't apply to the police. Like, whatever it is, we need to have everybody treated the same under the law. By private businesses, that's different. Like, private businesses have a little bit more leeway, I think, to treat people different. But it's still scary to think that, okay, well, if a private business can force you to get a vaccine or not be there, they could, potentially, I mean, it's not protected.
Take away your freedom of speech. Private business can do a lot of things.
Well, private businesses don't have to sponsor speech. Everybody's talking about like Twitter right now, and everybody's freaked out about how it's infringing on freedom of speech, but that's Twitter's speech.
Right. Yeah, they don't have to uphold it. But no, is there a time where, is there a certain point where as a business you have such a effect on the world and everything going around that maybe you should have to follow some sort of standards?
So here's the thing, is that they exist. Twitter exists. Facebook exists in this, like, at that level of power, because just like what we talk about with big pharma, right? That they've got regulations that are built around them now, that are impossible in a lot of ways for others to be able to get to where they are. And then not only that, but then you've got Apple and Google that control 99% of like technology, cell phones, at least cell phones and tablets in the United States. So if they take a platform off of their stores, you don't have access anymore.
Not without jailbreaking your phone and being crazy to get to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of scary. But it's more complicated than anybody's making it out to be.
See, my whole thing with that is I don't know why they just wouldn't let Parler go to keep those people off of Facebook and other things. If that's what they're trying to deal with, is not have to deal with those people, because now you're going to see those people, they'll come back if you're trying to keep them out of one.
Well, they're not afraid of the speech. They're afraid that they're going to use it to organize.
Yeah, but how easily monitored is it?
I don't know. Probably pretty easy.
Pretty easy, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean,
Facebook, they say, is like the most monitored thing there is at this point. Like, you can't say anything on Facebook without like being put on a fucking list. It's pretty crazy.
Oh yeah.
They flag, like, there was and it shows on Twitter, like, when is it Jack Dorsey
that owns it?
Twitter.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. When he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, they were talking about they have like just certain words that you write that they like pop up instantly to like people at Twitter are like, okay, what is this post about? Like,
crazy.
It's pretty crazy. It's like, oh shit, okay. Yeah, you got to be careful what you say.
I've been seeing a lot of people getting taken down. Ron Paul got taken down from, I want to say, Facebook.
Really? Okay.
Last week.
I've never posted on Facebook. I don't care to share because when you post something, do you post it because you want interactions and feedback? Are you posting because you're looking for attention? Do you think people actually give a shit what you post? That's what I guess I shouldn't ask a question because that's just what I think in my head.
There was a study out, and I'm trying to remember what their findings were, but essentially there were like 3 different reasons, I want to say, and I could be off on this. So if anybody knows, just let me know what the article said. But it sounds like some people use social media to get attention.
Yep.
Some people use it to share information, and some people are like influencers, and those are like kind of the 3 main reasons. It's either to get attention, to be an influencer, or like if you're a world leader, if you're a company.
That's what I use it for. It's business because it's great. So you're advertising.
So you're sharing information.
Yeah.
But I think those are the 3 main ways that people use social media.
I like the way you post most of the time. I mean, I don't know. I don't see everything you post all the time, but where a lot of times you put an article and you'll be like, hey, this is an interesting read. Everyone should read it. It's not like you're like, well, this says that this and this and this, because a lot of times you get like, this person's like, this article says, fuck it, who knows, Trump's an alien or somebody's crazy. And you're just like always like, hey, this is a good read.
Yeah.
You should try to read it. And I think that's like, because you're not trying to influence people. Then you're like, do your research.
Right.
Here it is. Yeah.
I try to share stuff that will challenge people to expand their mind.
Yeah.
To think. Like, I don't care if they think the same way I think, but like maybe here's either a different point of view or a point of view that shows multiple sides.
I think it's good, and it's something you're taught first thing in the day you like get into high school, maybe elementary, is like do your own research, read.
Yeah.
Make your own opinion.
Yeah.
It's like
it doesn't happen anymore.
It's like non-existent. I had somebody today on Facebook goes, hey, what's the most unbiased news channel there is?
Mm-hmm.
And then like somebody posts this thing with a graph of like who's where and where it's where, and all I can think is the most unbiased news is you going through different news stations and taking and coming up with your own conclusion about what's really going on. Because I mean, anyone can be unbiased, but if you go to Fox News and then you see like, okay, you go to CNN, you see, okay, and then you try to find somewhere in like Bloomberg in the middle. I mean, I don't know who is. And then you're just like, all right, now let's break this down. What seems extreme?
Right.
And what seems pretty similar in every story. And it's like that little bubble, right? The 3 and what's in the middle and whatever's on the outside. Fuck them.
Yeah.
People don't do it.
So. We probably have a good number of people who watch the show that are in healthcare. And I am, so it's kind of a way that I can kind of conceptualize this. So take, say that you came to me with chest pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, does it hurt here? And poked you.
Probably would when you poked.
And you were like, no. And I was like, all right, well, you're fine then. Right? No, I'm gonna have you move. I'm gonna, do several different tests. I'm gonna listen to your heart. I'm gonna listen to your lungs. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna do a bunch of different tests. I'm gonna look at a bunch of different angles. If there's a news issue, it's the same thing. It's like, yes, CNN, what their take is going to be. And they're worried about something specific. Can we make Trump look evil?
Right. Yeah.
Or whatever, can we make gun owners look evil? Whatever it is, right? They're going to come from their point of view. And if you don't look at also Fox News, BBC, CBS, whatever. If you only look at one source,
we don't like CBS anymore.
Yeah, so. Damn it, Dan Rather.
Yeah,
but if you don't look at multiple different sources, then you're not going to get close to the truth. You have to look at different sources to find the truth. And even then, you're getting media. I don't know if you know this. This is an interesting. I heard this the other day. Is media? The word media means filter.
In what?
In like Latin.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Means filter. So
I didn't know that.
So
and I took Latin.
The media
sad.
Is information coming to us through a filter. And they've all got their own different filter. And
crazy. Hey, it makes sense. I was going to ask you, when you do that chest thing, you're not going to stick me with an EKG and charge me $1,500 when you know I'm not having heart issues, right? You're not going to pull what hospitals try to do on their citizens. My filter. No more surprise bills. Apparently, I think that's a new. I don't know if that was New York State or federal, but there's something about surprise bills can't be anymore. But no, like my first thing is like, okay, when did you take a good history? When did it start? Right.
Sure. Oh well, I did this, and then it started to hurt. Okay, well then we're probably looking for something musculoskeletal, and then not gonna put an 8 kg on that.
Yeah, it's insane the way hospital. I had it happen to me, and I always thought it was like a joke. People are like, "Oh, they're always like doing tests that they don't need to do to run up your bill."
Yes.
And I went in without health insurance at 2021, and I was probably like pretty good shape at that point. But I went in and I was almost. I've had pneumonia before,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I think that's what I have. And I go in and I tell them, and they're like, "You're having like trouble breathing, and your chest hurts. You feel heavy." And I'm like,
"It's a heart attack."
And I said, "Yeah. I think I just need some medicine. You guys send me on my way, dude." They rushed me into the emergency room, threw me on an EKG, telling me I'm having a heart attack. I'm 21, let's say.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like, "Well, your heartbeat's rather high. You're probably having a heart attack." I'm like, because you fucking assholes just told me I'm having a heart attack, dude. Like, what do you think? You think I'm happy to be here? Oh yeah, I'm real thrilled. My body. I was so mad. I'm like yelling. I'm strapped. I'm like at like 130 heartbeat. It's like I'm raging at these people. Like I'm so upset.
This is called anger.
Yeah. And like it was crazy. And then when they EKG'd me, they're like, doctor comes in, he read the thing. He's like, "Well, there is this little thing here." And I'm like, "There's not a thing. Like, I'm fine." I literally just did an MMA bout 3 days ago, forever, like for 3 rounds for 9 minutes with a full grown man my size, and I was okay. I don't think I'm having a heart attack. And the guy's like, "I don't know." And he's like, "We need to run more tests." And I look at my mom.
Blood tests. Time for the blood test.
My mom and dad, and I go, "I'm fucking out of here." And they go, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I'm out of here." And bam, ripped off all the EKG stuff, left. Guess what? They sent me a freaking bill for the whole thing. Yeah, I mean,
of course they did.
And I was like, these fucking assholes. Yeah. Oh, they took my blood too, but I left before the blood test. And I went to my primary care doctor on Monday because it was a Saturday and I wasn't feeling good. And he's like, "Yeah, well, here's some amoxicillin." I don't know what he gave me.
Yeah.
And in 2 or 3 days, I was like, "Oh shit, I'm good to
Feel
go."
better.
Yeah. Jesus, what I asked for the day I walked in.
Oh,
yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. So it happens. And that was at Schuyler Hospital. That's right in Watkins Glen. So
what it comes down
Montour,
to
wherever it is.
sometimes is the experience and skill of the doctor. And if they can rule that out. Now, here's another example, though. And this has not happened to me because I take care of myself, essentially. But if you go, I'm more in the rehab world, right? So if you go to PT, physical therapy, they do really well at getting reimbursed. It's all about, can I get reimbursed for this or not? Because they can bill for a bunch of different things. And insurance will pay for some of those things, and some of them it won't, or some of them it'll pay a lower rate. So they want to do the things that are going to get them reimbursed at a higher rate. So they can pretty much always get reimbursed for ultrasound as long as they do it under certain parameters. And for stim, right? The little TENS unit, whatever, like when they put the electrodes on you and it tingles.
I told you they did it for my back before.
Yeah. So it's not that those things are completely ineffective. I'm not saying that, although I don't think that they're as good as some other options that you don't get reimbursed as high of a rate for. Like, I'd rather, if I have 30 minutes with you, we're probably going to do 25 of those minutes doing some type of therapeutic exercise, because I just think that's usually the best. Not always. But ultrasound, which blows my mind that like if they invented ultrasound today, it probably wouldn't get approved.
Really?
It was approved because we've been doing it for 100 years.
So when you say ultrasound, all I think of is pregnancy, obviously.
Right. So this is therapeutic ultrasound. So essentially what that does is, instead of like producing an image, it's more intense. And what happens is it sends those sound waves into your body, ultrasound, and it vibrates the tissue at a microscopic level. And for the most part, what they're trying to do, like probably 80% of the time, is to give a deep heating effect. And it does do that. It does increase the temperature of the tissue deeper than like a hot pack can.
Okay.
Not as well as exercise can.
That's what I think, when it, like, moving it, heat it up.
Moving it's the number one best thing you can do. But sometimes you can't move it, or sometimes it's uncomfortable to move it. So they will use it for that. And what happens is, it's called transduction. Basically, that energy, the sound energy, turns into heat energy. And then for like 5 minutes, you got 5 minutes after you do the ultrasound. You do that ultrasound, within 5 minutes, you better be doing something else. You better either be stretching or exercising, because that's about as long as that effect lasts.
Yeah.
Anyway, that aside, stim tingles. Like, there are a few other things you can do with it, but for the most part, what it does is it tingles. So if you have pain, especially like achy, dull pain, they'll use stim, because the sensation you get from that goes to your spinal cord faster, because it travels on bigger, thicker nerve fibers. So it goes like fast, and it's kind of like a race to your brain, and this gets to your spinal cord faster. And so that's the message that gets sent to your brain.
Oh, really?
So you feel that tingly.
Is that the thing that I was telling you about? They put on your back where it's like electric.
Yeah, yeah.
And they like contract your freaking muscles. Okay,
yeah.
That's
so you feel that tingly. Yeah,
Okay.
It's the gate control theory, right? So you get that tingly sensation instead of that dull pain sensation, and it covers it up. It doesn't cure anything.
Oh, so that's just pain relief?
Yeah.
So you get 15 minutes of pain relief?
Yeah, but they can get reimbursed for that.
Whoa. Yeah, because
now, there are a couple.
Shit.
There are some things, like, I'm not saying that it's completely useless, but I'm saying there are other things that are better.
Okay.
For the most part, for most situations, what it will do is it can make it, like, the idea is that pain relief lasts maybe a couple hours, because you get accommodation, you get carryover, that your, like, that pain relief will last longer because your nerves get maybe desensitized a little bit.
From
stuff
the
like
stem?
that. Yeah.
It can. Okay.
Just temporarily.
Yeah.
Temporarily. The other thing, if they're making your muscle actually contract,
that's what it felt like.
And sometimes it feels like that, but it's not actually happening. Sometimes it feels like that, and it is, especially with back. Sometimes I'll use it. This is one of the only things I actually use it for anymore, is if somebody's got a bad spasm and I can't do anything else that makes it go away. And if they're in too much pain to really do a lot of exercise, I'll put it on there, and I'll use what's called a Russian protocol. Newbie.
God damn it.
And what that does is it makes it so you can turn up the intensity like a lot higher.
Mhm.
And it actually does make the muscle contract, and it's like a cramp. And it like, and basically the idea is that you tire out that muscle, and you raise the level of stimulus it needs in order to contract, so that spasm, like the muscle that's spasming, is like too tired to continue to spasm.
Cool.
So anyway, long story short, beyond the science, we lost all of our listeners there. But like that aside, no more science talk. What happens is that those are two things that insurance is going to pay them for.
Whoa.
So your session with the PT, you're going to do 30 minutes. And I'm not like trying to vilify PTs. I'm not trying to vilify anybody, or this is just part of how the healthcare system is messed up because of insurance.
All right.
What happens is that they do maybe 5 minutes talking to you, 25 minutes therapeutic exercise or massage or stretching or joint mobilization, whatever it is. And then you bet your ass that sometime during your visit, you're going to have either stim or a hot pack.
Every time you get stim.
Or an ultrasound. Not every time.
Well, for me, every time. I did it for a month. I got stim every time I walked in the door.
And yeah. So for some PTs, stim every time you walk in the door.
Yeah.
For some chiropractors, pop, you're going to get adjusted every time you walk in the door.
Yeah.
And like, that's partly because of reimbursement.
That makes sense. Even though I'll tell you my take on physical therapy, and the reason that a lot of people don't like physical therapy. And I always thought it was the pain and the pain in the ass of going there and doing it.
Yeah.
But the problem is the first time you go, they sit down with you. What's your problems? What's going on? You feel like they care.
Mm-hmm.
But then all of a sudden, the next time you come in, there's 5 other people to your one physical therapist.
Right.
And they'll go, the exercises. I'll come over and I'll see you. So you're doing your exercises, you're paying money to be there.
Yeah.
And this physical therapist maybe spends enough time to put a stim on you, how you doing, how you feeling, let me check your hips, and walks away from you. And you're like, I don't know what my insurance is paying.
Pop over and make sure you're doing. The thing is, like, so I do that.
It doesn't feel good because you're not getting the time that you feel
it's
like
not one-on-one.
Yeah. Because I would much rather pay more to go see someone. And I was paying for this out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather go see someone one-on-one. If I'm gonna pay, give me your time. I don't want to sit there and I know I put the ball between my legs and I fucking squeeze it. Yeah, I've done that. I know I'm supposed to stretch this way. It's like, no, tell me how to get over this so I can get back to working out and living my life. And it felt like a little bit of a scam. So didn't feel good.
I think we've got some great PTs in this area, and I've worked with some great PTs and other great athletic trainers. It's just, it comes down to philosophy for me. And like I said, for some of them, it's the other reason that they do that stim every day is because they want you to come back. And if you leave feeling good because they did the stim, you're more likely to come back next time, as opposed to if you leave feeling sore and achy because they worked you.
How many times have you seen that it's and I never noticed it. Actually, the first person to figure out why I was having, like, my back was so messed up when I was younger was athletic trainer at college. It really was. I was like,
would you say was the first person that figured out why?
Yeah, why my back was hurting. Yeah. And because, like, I went to the doctor, and doctor's like, your posture's not good. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. And I'm like, no, I've been in car accidents. I've been in high collision sports. Like, it's just messed up. Like, dude, what more or less just blew me off. Like, this kid's looking for, like, pain pills or something. I don't know what he thought.
Yeah.
Then I'm in college, and I tell this guy, and he's like, you ever had your hips, like, checked?
Yeah.
And I go, dude, I'm 20 years old. My hips are fine. And he's like, he gets there, and, like, I'll never forget.
Because it's not your actual hip.
He, like, rolled me or did something weird. And all of a sudden, like, and I hurt like hell. But, dude, the next day I was like, whoa, like, I feel good.
Yeah.
And then now I notice every time I have really bad, it's always my fucking hips.
Yes.
Like, they always.
It's super common. So it's super common. And what really annoys me is I'll have patients come to me and they'll say, oh yeah, I've had this back pain, like, on and off. It'll come for like 3 months and it'll go away, or it'll come for a month and then it'll go away. But it always, like, comes on all of a sudden, or I threw my back out, whatever. And my doctor said, oh, there's not really anything you can do about it. And, like, your doctor screwed you because they didn't want to give you pills, or they did want to give you pills, but they didn't know how to actually fix the problem. So just because they don't know the answer doesn't mean that there isn't an answer.
Right.
And I tell everybody, everybody that has that problem, they come to me and I say, your pain, like I can make it go away, or at least go from a 7 to a 2 today with you. But it's like one of two things is going to happen. Probably 30% of the time we do that and it stays away and they're fine. The rest of the time, it's going to come back and your relief might last an hour. Your relief might last a day. Your relief might last a month. And I've got no way to know how long that's going to last. So after we do the thing that we need to do to like correct the alignment to make it so that, because that's the thing that's going to relieve the pain ultimately. It's going to make the spasm go away, whatever. Now we have to do like stretching. We need to do exercise. We need to stabilize.
And you're supposed to like always stretch after that, right? Like if you have like, isn't that a common thing that you're supposed to always do these exercises? Isn't that what they think? For a lot of people, they need to do them forever. Yeah. And then a weird one.
And they'll come to me. They'll be like, oh yeah, I was doing the exercises. But then I stopped and now my back hurts again. Like, okay, well, I guess you know what you need to do then. Like we'll fix it. And then you need to do the thing you need to do.
You ever done the thing where you like push on their feet? Like they put pressure against you and you like push into it? Because she used to do that.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
A lot of times that was the only way to ever get my hips to click back in.
Muscle energy.
Yeah, sure. Because like the ball, I couldn't do it. I don't know. Like it wasn't go. And then she couldn't roll me ever again. But then she'd be like, all right. And this is a little lady, but she's fucking like wham. I was like, Jesus. Like she's pretty tough. Yeah.
It's an osteopathic method that like DOs use.
Okay.
DOs have developed.
Yeah. It works, whatever it does.
It uses isometric contractions of your muscles to move the bones.
How do you tell when someone's not aligned? Or is it a guess?
It's not a guess. No. I've gotten pretty decent at it. The first step is usually that they go, it hurts right here. And if they say it hurts right here or right here, like they're like number one spot is right on that joint in the back. But so like that's where most people have the pain, is right where that is. Mm-hmm. Some people get spasms up in their back. Some people get stuff in the front of their hip. Some people even get headaches from it. I've seen all sorts of stuff. It can affect your whole body, which is like in a weird way. But then I have like ways that I check for leg length discrepancy. So if one leg is longer than the other, it's usually coming from there.
It's not, some people's legs just aren't longer than the other.
Some people's legs are longer than the other, and there's ways to measure that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. There's ways to, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So leg length discrepancy. And then I check different bony landmarks in the pelvic girdle to see where they all line up, compare from one side to the other. And like 85% of them, it's one way. And then, the other 15% is a combination of two other things that could happen. But it's pretty easy for me to spot now because I'm tuned into it. It took me maybe I always had those techniques and stuff, and I started developing them right at the beginning of my career, but I've seen it so much that I'm so tuned into it.
Yeah.
Especially with the level of athletes that I work with and have worked with in the past, like from the elite youth athlete to the kind of like average college athlete.
Right.
It's pretty common because their core stability is not always great.
Elite athletes they have like the greatest core.
They're kids.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And they're also these kids that I was working with. So I guess I don't know if it changes as much from being elite to average because they're putting higher stresses on their body. You know,
Right.
they're kids, but they're going twice as fast.
Right.
They're getting hit twice as hard.
Right.
And like,
kinetic energy, right? Is that
yeah,
yeah,
it makes a big difference. So
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one of the two things, like that and concussion have been like kind of my two major focuses.
And when you look at people doing physical therapy or athletic training, you think like it's easy. Like one fucking post. And every person I've ever, when I knew my hips were out, and I was like, hey, she like made one leg like this, and can you just like pull? Never. No one can.
No.
Or to push my like leg in, like no one's ever can't do it. They don't. And I'm like, I don't know if she was just doing that. She wasn't doing anything special. And it happened every time. I don't know. I mean, it's like other girls. Some girls do it better than others, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, it happens every time with some and it doesn't with others. So
there you go.
Yeah.
It's just it's just
feels
about,
like, and we're not lying.
It's just technique, you know. It's all about technique.
It is technique. Yeah.
And knowing what you're doing. You can't just like, and that's what, when I do it, just like you said, people are like, oh yeah, I tried to have my roommate do that. Like, don't let your roommate touch your back.
You probably shouldn't.
Ever. Just don't do it. It's not smart. Come to me.
It's got to be just like positioning the person right and positioning your body right and knowing how it all, because it's
leverage
not possible.
And like knowing what you're doing. Like it's not even just technique, but it has to start with a history. Like finding out what happened. Doing an exam to say, okay, yeah, like you're right, it is. And you like once you've done it twice, you pretty much immediately, and that's what I tell people, like, all right, well, now you know what this feels like. If this happens again, it'll feel the same.
Yep.
Come see me like that day.
See, it hurts after. Every time it would hurt after for me. Like you're saying, like it relieves it. I don't know.
I'd make people feel better immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
It always was like pain because it'd be like hot and twinge. You'd have like that like twinge.
Yeah.
I don't know. But my hips come out like she was saying weekly.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, the way you have to combine it with, so after she would kind of help with your alignment.
Yeah.
Would you do some kind of exercise?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them, and then stim at the end of every time. Then I'd get in my car and my back was all hot and fired, and then I'd go home. So sometimes
that happens if it's if there's like anything where there's like pressure on a nerve that's being relieved.
Yeah.
Like if there's pressure on your nerve, you might get like some numbness or something, or whatever. You might get pain someplace else.
She heat padded and stemmed though.
Yeah.
She did both. So it was like, I don't know.
Trying to get rid of the spasm.
I think she stemmed and then heat padded. I don't know which way she did.
Trying to get rid of the spasm.
Yeah, it was interesting. So sorry everyone that we got boring, but it's nice to pick Phil's brain every once in a while, and you might learn something. You fucking degenerates. Jesus.
Well, yeah, no, I think, but the long story short is don't try to treat yourself with that kind of stuff. If, you know, and, but when you do go seek treatment, I wish that there was a way for me to just tell you, you know, go to this person, don't go to that person. If they start doing this, just, you know, tell them I'm not going to do that. Like, to be honest, if they want to put stim on me at the end of a treatment, and just be like, actually, I'd rather not. And you have control somewhat, you know, like if you don't want to do it,
give you a weird look. Though.
You just tell them you don't want to do it.
Like, why?
But you know, stim's okay. Why do you want to do stim? If the goal is, and ask, that's the thing. Whatever treatment you get from a doctor, from, you know, any kind of rehab you're doing, anything, ask, what's this going to do for me?
Why? Because they know they're doing more than you fucking. I mean, not more than you, but more than I know.
But maybe you're the consumer. You should know what you're buying.
Right.
And if it's like, okay, Well, it's going to do some pain relief. Okay, well, doesn't really hurt that much right now.
Yeah, I don't really need it.
I don't really need it.
Gotcha.
Okay, like you can have, like, I'm not saying that you should argue with your healthcare provider. I'm not saying that you should, but it's okay to ask, hey, like, why are we doing this treatment? What's this treatment do? Like, is this actually going to help me get better faster?
Why do you always ask me to take my pants off when you do it? Like, just things that
I have a sore throat. Why do I have to take my pants off?
Right. It's just like some things that I've just let my doctor get away with for years. I thought they were normal. So,
but
your dentist?
But just ask. Okay, what's this do? What,
Yeah.
I have to do exercises. All right. Well, why am I doing hip exercises when I sprained my ankle? And if you ask me that and I'm treating you, I've got a perfectly good answer for why you're doing hip exercises when you sprain your ankle.
Why the hell am I
doing these things
hip
for a
exercises
reason?
when I sprain my ankle?
Why?
Why?
You're asking me why.
Why the hell would I ever work on my hip when my ankle hurts?
Well, a lot of reasons.
Okay, I'm ready.
And I would give you several. We can't do that much to strengthen your ankle right now, but we can to strengthen your hip, and your hip is connected to your ankle via your leg.
But so isn't everything else.
Yes, but your hips are like what control your lower extremity.
Okay,
that's the biggest. Not only that, but when you sprain your ankle, when you limp, your limping comes from your hip, because one weird thing that happens when you sprain your ankle is it actually kind of shuts down your gluteus medius, which is the muscle on the side of your hip that like keeps your hips level when you walk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It like takes away some of the signal there. So you're limping.
I didn't even know there was a
if
muscle
you're
here.
limping, oh yeah, there's like 33 or something like that that attached to your pelvis. Anyway, so when you're limping, you can't limp from your ankle. Your ankle doesn't limp. Your hip limps.
Well, yeah.
And limping is bad for you. It's bad for your back. It's bad for your hip. It's not even that good for your ankle. So, like, there are a million reasons. That's like the beginning of the reasons.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So, just ask if they don't have a reason why you're doing a treatment, then they're like, what are you doing? Okay, well, if you don't have a reason, then why don't we just skip over this one today?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Don't let them give you an EKG for your hip.
Right. You didn't have to let them put the EKG on you.
Yeah, and I didn't. I was young. I didn't know that until I ripped it off and walked out. And they're like, "Sir."
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm keeping these stickers.
I'm fucking out of here.
I'm keeping these stickers.
I've done that. And when I got surgery on my broken arm, I don't know. I have a weird thing. Like, if I've ever been like put unconscious, like my emotion is to just get up and leave. Like,
right.
And so like they.
All right. Well, I'm out of here.
They broke my wrist while I was awake the first time. They broke, well, not my wrist, my radius bone. While I was awake, they like grabbed it and broke it. And they're like, "Do you need to be put to sleep?" I'm like, "No, like just break it." And like, so they broke because it started like growing wrong.
Yeah.
So they broke it then.
Crazy.
And I kind of regretted it after, because I was like, "Oh, that's excruciatingly horrible pain."
It's not pleasant.
Yeah. And so they
you really want to be
and
unconscious
I'm like 15.
You really want to be unconscious for that.
And the woman doctor couldn't break it, so she had to bring in a man to come break my. And then so the second time it didn't grow back right, and she goes, "So you're getting put out for this one." I'm like, "Good idea." But anyways, I woke up and they had like IVs in me, and I just go like,
all right,
ripped it all off. There's like water all over the floor. Like, I'm leaving, and they're like, "Sir, you can't leave." And my mom's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "We're leaving." And she's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I don't know." Like, I just want out of the hospital. So strange, but yeah. So second time I've ripped something off me and left the hospital.
I just get chatty.
Do you?
When I like,
yeah.
I've had surgery twice, 3 times. Holy shit! I had 3 surgeries.
So you don't panic? I think that's what mine is. Just like a panic.
No, I'm very comfortable in the hospital.
Really?
Very comfortable. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time like in my education and stuff like that in the hospital. So
isn't it weird going to sleep like that though? Isn't it the strangest feeling? when they put you out?
Well, yeah, no, it's just like done.
They're
like you're
okay,
out. You're sitting there and everything's fine, and then you're out.
Done.
Well, not fine. Like I've only had one surgery where everything was fine.
You've had others where they weren't fine?
I had two where it was very not fine. It was very not fine. I had one where I mean, this seems small, but I cut this little piece out of my finger when I was 17. But it was like straight through the joint and everything. It was crazy.
Ouch.
So they were like, all right, well, make an appointment tomorrow and we'll do a skin graft on it. So they took, actually, and this was the more painful part, they took skin from my leg and put it there. It was weird. I had like leg hair growing out of it for like 6 months.
So it hurts to do a skin graft? I don't know what it is.
Well, yeah, because they take they took a square like that of skin off of it. So like,
yeah,
it's raw.
Yeah,
they take the skin right out.
Yeah.
And so then you're worried about that. And then, I couldn't bend that for like a year. I couldn't bend my finger. It's crazy. But then the other two surgeries were when I broke my leg. And the first surgery was at like 1:00 in the morning. And they'd given me almost no pain medication for like the 9 hours that I was waiting for a doctor to show up. And this little woman and doctor in the ER, they were like, oh yeah, he just wants me to reduce it and then you can set up an appointment on Tuesday. And I'm like, lady, that's not going to happen. Get a doctor in here. And this is not sexist. It's just, she was very small.
It's just funny the way you say it, lady.
And I've seen a lot of orthopedic surgeries and that just wasn't going to happen. Like she was not going to be able to reduce that.
What do you mean
so
reduce?
Reduce is like if you've got a fracture or a dislocation, reducing means to put it back where it's supposed to be.
Okay. So she's just kind of jigsawing you back in.
Yeah. So there was no chance of her doing that successfully. The doctor that they brought in was a bit bigger than me. And he struggled with it with me unconscious. Like they put me out finally and took me in, and he struggled with it.
Wow.
Because it was like my leg was broken in several places and my foot was pointed all the way backwards. It was pretty crazy.
That, dude.
And
that sounds gross.
So that was not okay. And then 10 weeks later, I had to go get a second surgery on that leg to just to remove a screw and put in like a tightrope suture to
I know sutures
hold the bones together, because like the type of injury I had is something that can become just completely unstable. So I'm pretty happy with the way that it's healed eventually.
Yeah.
It just took a while to get there.
That's scary. Yeah. But when we were talking about going unconscious, did they count you down or were they talking to you during it?
I don't think I shut up very much. Anybody that's met me can probably, I don't shut up. I can't count. Like I could count, but I'd have to stop talking first.
Like count down from 100. I thought that's what they were going to happen.
Yeah.
But he's like,
199.
Doctor goes, hey, I'm so-and-so. How you doing? What's your name? And I go, Jesse. But that's all I remember. Like, done. Like he was just so casual, and I thought, and then dude, out cold.
Making sure they got the right guy. They don't want to do the surgery on the wrong guy.
So we're taking a testicle. It's like, no, then you out cold.
It's the left testicle, right?
No, done. Out.
Oh crap! Testicle. It was supposed to be the right one. Now you've got none left.
That's scary about being out cold. It's
yeah,
like, I wish they could just like numb you completely and you could be awake. I would like that way better. I'd much rather.
Well, they can.
Yeah, I'd much rather do that.
But they usually don't for a lot of different surgeries.
Unless you're like opening me up, like I want to watch. Like I don't want to see myself like like I'll be like just start like feeling like
a lot of it, like minor surgeries in the extremities are like, oh, you want to watch, and they'll like do
that's so cool.
So instead of doing general anesthesia, they do regional anesthesia. So like you can't feel your arm, or maybe it just feels like kind of rubbery.
Whoa.
Or your leg, whatever. Like they can make it like if you're getting like a meniscus surgery or like a carpal tunnel surgery. It's not such a big deal. So they can just do a regional anesthetic.
My dentist, when I got my root canal, he's like, you want to kind of see us do it? And I'm like, how? And he's like, oh, my nurse hold the mirror. You can kind of see. I'm like, oh.
Nope.
I was like, oh, fuck yeah. And then I
What?
saw him like stick the Novocaine needle in my mouth and how far it went into my gum. And I was like, I don't think I want to watch anymore. I was like, I'm like thinking, where is he trying to fucking stick that needle? He's gonna hit me in the brain. That thing's like this long. I
don't want to see that.
But
it is
like,
long. It's like, a long needle.
And it's like disappeared. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. And then like he starts like drilling and like stuff's like falling out. And I'm like, I'm not watching anymore.
No.
But it was cool that he was like, you want to like see it?
No desire to watch that.
Yeah.
Mouth stuff. It's like
crazy.
It's not good.
All right.
Well, we've bored you all long enough.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging in with us, even though we were a little late today. I'm hoping to have a guest on next week, but still trying to nail it down. So I'm going to keep it a surprise for now.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Have a great Sunday or whatever day you're listening to this.